It goes back through widows, widders, and others to the plantation of Ulster. Or it could be from Cheshire. It's a clothes label in New Zealand, a mountain in Canada. There was probably a widdis carving hieroglyphs in ancient Egypt. But when I give my name, I still have to spell it. And the second one comes from Neptune, the final movement in The Planets by Holst. And this features a women's chorus, which fades out at the end of a piece. And this was originally achieved by putting the singers in a side room and then slowly closing the door during the final bars of the piece. So this is called Neptune's Women. Their voices vanished in Queen's Hall Auditorium as the door was drawn shut, silencing them in the side room, bewitching their audience in 1918. But when maths, not mythology, began to define the planets, John Glenn put his life into the hands of Mary Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and Dorothy Vaughan, a number-crunching trio whose brightness could not be dimmed. Valentina Tereshkova was among the first to orbit the Earth in...
COVID joke and a Norwich joke, but I work in a school, so I haven't really finished them, so the COVID one reads COVID joke, and the Norwich one reads Norwich joke. My name is Adam Thorne. I drink beer and remember stuff and get sad and write things. So it's my first thing, my only thing today is called You Are / a series of memories that are often sad but have been bookended by funny ones so I don't get too awkward on stage. Here's a series of memories. You are accidentally tipping a waitress £1,000 because you didn't know how the 00 button worked on the card machine and you had to go back to the restaurant and say, I'm sorry, but I have given you all of my money. You are waking up the morning after you first slept with a girl and you think it's because you were in a transcendent moment, but it is actually because you have a nosebleed and she wakes up to you naked and covered in blood and stressed. You are sitting in the hospital and doing crossword puzzles and you still have a lot of anaesthetic in you, so you insist that B and H are the same letter and always have been, and the lady in W.H. Smith's looks concerned. You are holding hands with a dying woman and she asks you to pray with her and you say you can't remember any of the words to the prayers, but she starts to pray and you remember them all. You are walking into a Pret, very hungover, and somebody inside is talking about how sourdough changed his life, and you leave and get fast food and feel bad because you picked up a smoked salmon sandwich but then put it back. You are swallowing a piece of cold puffin meat because your dad says it's what you do when you're in Iceland, but later in the bathroom you cry because puffins were sacred once because they could traverse earth, sky and sea, but also because they're very cute. You are in college, asking your best friend for sex advice because it's a service he's always offered and because sex doesn't feel like what you thought it would, but faced with actual earnest sex questions, he's quite shy, so you talk about Nicolas Cage instead. You are sitting on the beach because your mom's kicked you out and because you're between rich girlfriends at the moment and you think it will get so cold that you'll be in serious danger, but behind the windbreak it's not so bad. You are eating Domino's pizza and Krispy Kreme donuts after being attacked by a racist and barred from Costa for bleeding on the floor too much. And it's really bad, but you have a kind of unrepressible feeling that the post-assault food is so good that the whole thing was kind of worth it. You are having a bad acid trip and thinking about how everything is temporary and then somebody slips some paper under your door. It's 4 sheets of A4 that say, "We're all okay," smiley face. And you realise it's true, we are all okay, smiley face. You are sitting down after work and spend an hour trying to understand how zippers function, but you still don't get it, so you go to the pub and think, this is better. You are realising that you blew it with the one, because you spent a lot of your time together playing Pokemon Go, and also cheated on her, and it's You're doing the washing up, you turn a spoon the wrong way and it soaks your 95% of your body surface and it's a bad moment. You are on a train in India, going through a desert at night and listening to sad music and pretending you're in a movie. And there's a very small gecko on the window who knows exactly how you feel. You are at an open mic performing something that's not even close to being a functional poem, and the audience are kind of amused but a bit worried about you, so you wrap it up.
So this is called stroke. Neither a master nor of a genius, but a brain. A fall, slurred speech, left half paralyzed, left with half a brain. Basic things you once considered mundane. Like a baby, you learn and train again. Old age magnifies the suffering, leaving you at the mercy of others' help and sometimes yelling. Memories, dreams, reality, all a mishmash, like the tasteless food, force-fed and mashed. You are sometimes lifeless, sometimes senseless. There is no caring, that is selfless. They say mother's love is selfless. A kind attendant caring for you like a baby when you're not in senses, sometimes respecting you like her mother when you are in senses. Not so kind one, tugging you like a spoilt brat, using massage to disguise slap into a pat. Cries for water, pain and shit are heard sometimes, conveniently ignored many a times. A liability, a curse, karmic balance, call what you may, disability at this age, you wish for death and pray. Neighbors and relatives all come as visitors, dishing out unasked wisdom like a preacher. Relatives who take care become enemies. That one caring attendant becomes your best friend and mother, distracting you with games while teaching you how to eat and talk in this role reversal. Whose responsibility are you anyway? To decide that, wish there was an easier way. A hiccup, a roadblock, a showstopper, a dead end, or simply life. Different interpretations for folks in your life. This is no life. Whose? Mine or yours? I wrote after my mother had a stroke, so yeah. Sorry about that. But I have more. I don't know. This could go anywhere. Truth. You dream your truth in monochrome. I dream mine in a riot of colors. That doesn't make mine a lie. Let's exhibit them both. Filter wine through the audience. Let them be the judge. If they are wrong, we can always blame them. We can always blame the wine. Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, that's it. Sorry. Last one. Sorry. Last touch. You clench my hand, I reciprocate, you are quiet. I pet gently with the other, you clench it harder, you are still quiet. I gather this to be our secret coda. After all, intubated on a ventilator, how else could you talk? You oscillate your head, left to right, right to left. Our new sign language has more words. It's my turn now to speak new words. My lips are sewn shut, just like yours. This time I clench your hand. I don't have new words. Only my silent tears to punctuate the same old words. I feed you liquid through the feeding tube. For the last time, but I don't know yet. I hold your hand again for the last time, but I don't know yet. Then you cry, I wipe your tears for the last time, but I don't know yet. I go home to feed myself. You left quietly, depriving me my last touch, a lost touch.
I'm a nurse in A&E whenever I decide to go into work, and I love the job, but it's been a bit difficult over the last few years. A lot of the reasons I write are to try and process the horrible stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and recently I've been working a little bit in ICU as well. But luckily for you, all the poems that I've written about that aren't set to music. So the ones I'm doing today I think they have one reference to nursing in them. So they're about death, but not about death like that, about other kinds of death. So this first one was written with a loneliness group in Colchester. And this is the only one which is happy, so really make the most of it. And it's called Home. There's a little sample in there which sounds a little bit like somebody saying like, hey, in quite a nice way. But I want you to imagine that is a nun that you personally have pissed off. And it'll become apparent how throughout the course of the piece. It's called Home. You see, no. Home is where the heart is. The moment the rosary beads snapped, scattering like panicked mice when the lights go on and skittering under tables, feet, every surface in all directions. Betty knew she'd made a mistake. The head nun's wrinkled face, so stoic up to now, folded into itself in disgust like an angry raisin. She got red, and Betty got gone. Nuns are no fun. Nuns are no fun, and evacuation is tough, even without being separated from siblings. Betty's sister had been selected hours ago, it seemed, and only 5 years old. 5 years old. Could anybody blame Betty for desperately fighting back? Apparently, yes. Nuns are no fun. So Betty hid quick. From the otherwise empty room, stinging with swallowed curses, the threat of a caning electric in the air, she hid deep in a makeshift den from the chairs. From the other children who'd already disappeared with different families, her ears wrung and her eyes stung with swallowed tears. Betty wasn't ready. The nun got redder. But bladders are the enemy sometimes. So Betty had to resurface and accept the home of the last kind woman with its red-bricked outhouse and single wooden panel seat, cobwebbed in its peaceful solitude, where she could sit